News now, and amid stifling ties as far as the US and India are concerned over that tariff war that is looming, and there's a flashpoint, and that is the Russian oil import, and that is something that has been a huge flashpoint between India and the US. But now National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has reached Moscow for that visit that is really aiming at strengthening ties between Russia and India, and this visit has been scheduled way in advance, but this is really gaining a lot more momentum at the moment given the timing of this. And Vishal joining us. Vishal, of course, a lot more significant visit there, because given the timing of it, with pressure that's mounting from the United States against India buying the oil from Russia.
Yeah, this comes at a time when the traditional ties between India and Russia have been repeatedly questioned by Donald Trump in the last 48 hours or so. He has gone on to Truth Social, his own social media, to say that India and Russia's ties are sort of promoting the Ukraine war, but that has been aptly rebuffed by India and Russia both. And some big politicians in US also have spoken about it, that India and US ties are old ties and it should not be ruined by Trump. So in the same vein, Ajit Doval, the NSA, is in the Russian territory. Big meetings will be held tomorrow when he is supposed to meet one of the big leaders in Russia, and also the special representative level talks between India and China will also be held in mid-August. So it could be a preparation for all of that, and also there will be a big SCO summit in August 31, when all the big leaders from India, Russia and China, they all congregate for that SCO summit. So all of this could be in preparation for that meeting. So for the details of what this meeting in Russia will entail, that has not been disclosed. We'll get to know about that only when they happen tomorrow.
Right. In order to know more on this, we have Tatania Kukereva, senior journalist from Moscow, joining us. Thank you so much for speaking with us here on NDTV. We're talking about Ajit Doval there, who's going to be holding various meetings with the Russian officials, and that is what we, from what we're hearing, is to discuss defense, to discuss security cooperation, oil sanctions, and also perhaps a Modi-Putin summit is in the pipelines.
Yes, of course. We have been hearing different versions of what is going to be discussed during this visit. Obviously, it's not just about the ongoing Donald Trump crusade on the Russian-Indian relationship, so to speak. But there's just, it looks like a very, very strong message being sent by New Delhi. And it is a smart one as well, keeping in mind what we know about Donald Trump, about his negotiation techniques, about how he actually does business. But I do believe that just keep in mind that it's not just Mr. Doval who is in Moscow today. Trump's special envoy, Mr. Witkoff, is also in Moscow. And he is also holding high-profile deals. So there's going to be interesting developments on the other side of this visit. For
Absolutely.
sure.
The outcome of this visit is something that Donald Trump has in fact gone and spoken of, saying that it will be tomorrow, that he will be talking about that as well. While Donald Trump is, talking about substantially raising those tariffs when it comes to India, given the fact that we are buying Russian oil, and that is a deadline that he's given of, in fact, 24 hours. And while India stands its ground, maintaining its relationship with Russia, how is it being perceived by Putin and the Russian government?
Well, as you can see, Vladimir Putin has not been very vocal when it comes to Donald Trump. And on a personal note, I do believe that this is a very smart tactic because, Donald Trump, his manner of lashing out and on social media is something that works, I believe, well to an extent on the American public. It doesn't work that as well elsewhere. So we need to keep in mind that whatever he says and does not say, it doesn't necessarily mean what he's going to want, even in negotiations. When you talk about, him speaking about tariffs, I do believe that he's said that the pharma tariffs could reach 250%, which even sounds ridiculous to begin with.
Absolutely.
Anything over 100% is just for pure showmanship. It probably works well with the American public because it paints him as a strong, kind of presidential figure. However, to anybody understanding maths, this number, anything over 100, is just, it's unreasonable to even be talking about. But
right, Donald Trump, speaking of which, today he was really asked if he was aware that, Russia and US continues to trade when it comes to chemicals and fertilizers. And, he completely denied that, saying that he wasn't even aware of that. And this is a ground that India has really been holding, saying that if you can do business with Russia, why can't we continue doing our business with Russia? And, of course, making claims that in regard to, the sticking point that the United States has been maintaining is basically the closeness that India has with Russia and the oil that India is importing out of Russia.
Well, Divya, Donald Trump is good at simple narratives. And the simple narrative here has been that he's using the Ukrainian conflict. It comes off as a very, very strong narrative. If you continue trade with Russia, you're fueling the Ukrainian conflict, which it reads well with the general public, especially the general public in the US. However, keeping that in mind, we need to understand the global oil market it's not as simple as taking something out of this market to stop anything from happening. You take a piece of the market away, the prices go up. And I believe it was Minister Puri who said it first quite some time ago, that India actually saved the global oil market by continuing to buy Russian oil. And that is a very simple truth. It's not about the Ukrainian conflict. It's about the global economy.
Right.
That's for one. Second of all, again, we need to understand Donald Trump. He's actually spoken about it in his book. He's described his negotiations technique himself. It's simple enough.
He is a businessman who, of course,
yes.
is playing with, the world leaders and their minds, of course.
Playing hardball.
And the friendship that he offered to Putin, and then the U-turn that he's been taking on all the decisions that he's been making. Thank you so much, Tanya. I'm afraid we're completely out of time. Would love to discuss this further at a different point in time.